Hi,
Hello, welcome to our podcast.
I'm Karin.
And I'm Gloria, and we're here for the company.
How was your week?
It was good, just regular life stuff. My daughter started volleyball practice,
It's so
so
fun.
I've been picking up and dropping off, doing the mom thing. And then I got to go to my sister's on Friday to go swimming, and that was really fun. And yesterday was just so nice. We had like a movie night with the kids, and it was just like relaxing and chill and quiet.
Yeah,
Any day that's quiet is a good day.
that is our kids' favorite thing. Is like, can we have a family movie night?
Yeah, it's fun.
Mm-hmm. It really is.
Yeah. How was yours?
My week was weird. It was busy, so busy. It might even keep being busy. I haven't told Sean yet. We have some friends from Virginia that are in town.
Oh,
In
okay.
town is generous. They're an hour away, but they have 5 kids that we know, and then they're currently fostering 2 more.
Okay.
I'm like, maybe we need to go see them. And I should have invited them yesterday, but I just literally the first kid arrived. Yesterday was my kid's birthday.
Hmm.
The first kid arrived, and whatever I was doing, I left my phone there and I never saw it the rest of the day. So,
That's good. I mean, that's how you want it to be, right? Like,
yeah,
just
I
be
feel
present in the
bad.
moment.
I feel bad because my kids definitely know I'm a picture taker. So, but they
True.
didn't ask like are there any pictures at the end, but I feel bad that I didn't take any. Super cute party though. One of the first parents to arrive. So this girl, we've actually gone to her party. So it's like one of those. The dad stayed at ours, we stayed at theirs. So we got to talk a little bit more this time. Man showed up in a neon MTV shirt
Really?
with a neon visor. And I was like, I love your shirt. It actually matches my thumbnail for my video that just went out today.
Yeah.
And he goes, you have a podcast? And I was like, yeah. He goes, is it like the kind of podcast you want people to listen to? And I was like, now I'm intrigued because are there podcasts out there that people don't want people to listen to?
I mean, maybe people that they know, they'll be like, don't listen to it.
Maybe. But he was like, cool, I'm going to follow you. And then it was so funny because later on in the party, we got into a conversation. And my sister in law, Natalie, was like, you guys have come so far though. Like your current recording versus your first one. Cause I was like, did you
Oh,
guys watch the recording where I was purple?
yeah. It's like night and day now.
Yeah. And they said the same thing. All right. You ready to jump in?
Yes.
Okay. We're trying something new today because I saw a video and I was like, Gloria, I need you to not watch this video. And I'm going to show you some things. And this will be a blast from the past for me because I followed this lady. And I actually think you will probably recognize her and maybe have seen some of her stuff before.
Maybe.
Okay.
Because I don't remember names.
Right. No. But uh, for anyone who didn't know, Gloria and I really also want to talk about problematic behavior.
Mhm.
And this woman has been problematic for years. So let me tell you a little bit about Nikki Phillippi. And if you do recognize that name and you're thinking, she got canceled years ago, oh, guys, she's back. And not only is she back, she's been back. And I did some digging and found some continued problematic behavior. And I can't wait to show you.
All right.
Okay, so today I'm introducing you to someone from the YouTube trenches. And some of her videos are titled like what I hate about being in the trenches. It's funny. Um, ChatGPT calls her a one-woman cautionary tale in a maxi dress.
Oh my gosh.
She started as your standard early 2010 lifestyle girly. She
Hmm.
did big curls, big faith, big this is my life. She sold Young Living. Do you know what that
Oh,
is?
um,
The MLM essential
yes,
oils.
4 essential oils.
So, fun fact about me, most people probably don't remember, but I sold
Oh,
um
great.
but I actually did really well in for the time that I was in it. And then I crashed because MLMs are toxic. They're cults if you They're toxic cults, whether you
Yeah,
like it
I
or not.
agree.
And sorry, I stand corrected. It's not an MLM. They're a monthly shopping club. She also sold something similar. So Young Living is very big. And actually, it's funny because working in missions over the years, a lot of missionary influencers sell Young Living because it's easy to share. Like, oh, I'm crunchy. Here's my essential oils. Here's my diffuser. Yeah, the diffusers are like $300 and they're not worth it.
The stuff from there is expensive. My sister-in-law actually, I don't know if she does it anymore, but she used to sell it.
Yeah. I am all about women selling things, making money the way they can. I
Yeah.
do believe MLMs are predatory, and we can get into that at a further time, but I have been in my fair share.
Yeah.
Okay. So she started standard, she did Target hauls, DIYs, clean eating, Young Living hauls was a big thing.
Mhm.
And then she started to transition into mo- family, but mom vlogging.
Okay.
Very Pinterest meets suburban mom has a dream.
Right.
I even have um a clip of her or a video of her. You know those like channels that like write music and then record it and it's like all done up, but they're like worship videos.
Oh yeah.
So I'm going to introduce you to Nikki Phillippi in that sense.
So is she trying to be like a religious person?
When you're in an MLM, they tell you share your life, share
Oh.
what you're doing, share the products. Don't say you work for the company. Share the products, and people are going to ask questions. And I kid you not, it works. It worked for me. I'd share the bug spray I was using, I'd share the protein shake I was using, how I was losing weight, and how I was doing this, and how I was doing that. And
Right.
um, people ask. I don't have the time to answer anymore. At the time, I mean, back then I did. I don't use MLM products anymore as a rule. Honestly, when I look back then of her channel, that's what she was doing. She was sharing her life. She was like, hey, I love Jesus. Hey, I also love essential oils. But I wanted to show us this aspect of her so that we can know this side of her too, because she's more than just a YouTube mom. And I don't know exactly what happened, but it sounds like she suffered an injury, which is why she couldn't sing or perform anymore. Let me pull this up and share this screen with you.
You know
And
what the most annoying MLMs are?
go for it.
The ones where people have to go and be like, "Oh, I lost this weight." And then they'll be like in their post, "Ask me how I did it." And then in the comments somebody will be like, "What are you using?" And they're like, "I'll message you."
They all do that though.
Like, what the
Because you
is
know why?
that?
You're not allowed to make claims on the internet. So you can make them in private. No, if
Oh.
anyone ever says, message me, scam.
Okay, I get
Scam.
it.
Yeah.
Cuz every time I was like, this is so annoying. Just tell them.
No, scam. Yeah, they're
Great.
not allowed to tell you.
Good to know.
Yes. So this video is titled Who You Say I Am. This is me, worship mashup. We're not going to watch the whole thing, but I did just want to play this for you and show you a little bit of who she is and who she was presenting herself to be prior to everything we're going to cover.
Okay.
Who am I that the highest king would welcome me? I was lost,
This
but
is her.
he brought me in. Oh, his love for me. Oh, his love for me.
When the sharpest words wanna cut me down, I'm gonna send a flood, gonna drown them out. I am brave.
That's not a Christian song.
No. I was like, this is weird.
Right? That's Greatest Showman. I was like, Zac Efron.
Love the movie, love the
Love it.
song, but
Dude.
it's not about Jesus.
I am bruised, I am who I'm meant to be. This is me. Look out, cause here I come. And I'm marching on.
So yeah, I just want to show you that. She's super talented.
Yeah, she's got a pretty voice.
Okay, so before we dive into the next thing, because this is the one you might know her from,
Okay.
I want to ask you a hypothetical scenario question. How do you feel about dogs around kids? What boundaries do you or would you set? And how would you respond if your dog nipped at your child? Like, hypothetically, say your dog is eating. It's a big dog, it's a bully breed.
Yeah.
And your kid is over there, 1 year old, maybe less, pulling on its ears, slapping it in the face.
Yeah. So I was going to say it depends on the dog, but I don't allow, especially my toddler, to touch a dog while they're eating. I feel like that's just a like common sense.
When do you normally start that? So, like, say you had the dog before the kid, and when your kid starts to get interested in the bowls and stuff, like, what do you correct
I
the
mean,
child or the dog, or
I have a 1-year-old. So and
what's that
my
like?
my mother-in-law has a lot of dogs outside. So when we're out in the backyard, like you have to keep an eye on what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, if a dog is eating, I'll go, "Hey, the dog's eating. We can't be touching the dog right now.
Yeah.
You can touch the dog when they're done with food." If my dog bit my kid, which I have a Chihuahua.
Yeah.
She's a Chihuahua mix. She's a little
Mhm.
mutt, but she has nipped at my kid
Right.
because she's pulling on her ears.
Yeah.
So I think it's a constant correction with your toddler only because they don't know better.
Yeah. So I have one follow-up question because this will
Yeah.
come up later. If you correct your toddler and they listen to you, would you define that as obedient?
If my baby listens to me,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Okay. Just keep that in
I
mind.
think I would just be happy that she listened to me.
But she listened,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Okay. If I say the word obedience, do you get a negative connotation? Or are you like, Karen, that's a strong word?
I don't get a negative feeling about it
Mm-mm.
at all,
Me either.
but
Okay.
I think it's because I've grown up in religion and stuff that like it's a word that is said a lot.
If someone said to me, like, your kids are so obedient, I would take that as a compliment in
Yeah.
most fashions, right?
Yeah.
Like, if someone's talking about something wild, like, I told your kids to rob a bank and they were ready to go, you trained them well. I'd be like, so you can't be here anymore. Right? But like,
Yeah.
for the most part, if I leave my kids with their grandparents and my parents are like, they were so good, they're so obedient, they're so responsive, like they
Yeah.
listen, compliments. We'll
Oh
just
yeah.
keep that in the back of our minds for now. But
Okay.
um so I actually have had to rehome a dog. We had a bully breed, and when my oldest was born, we had Layla, our dog, for 3 or 4 years. We
Yeah.
got her, we started dating, and it was like, let's go get a dog.
Yeah.
We got a dog. She was not my biggest supporter because I spent the first year of our relationship away. So she loved Sean. She did fine during our pregnancy, but after we had our oldest, when Sean would leave for work, she would go in and lay on his side of the bed, and she would not come out until Sean came home.
Weird.
Yeah, and she did fine for the most part, but we could tell she had just gone through like a depression and was really not loving our baby like we thought she would.
Oh.
So I had my baby on the bed one day and I was just playing with the baby and she was just laughing, and Puppy was on her side of the bed but was annoyed at us. So turned and growled. And I was like, you know what? I'm not doing this.
Yeah.
I don't want to get 6 months down the road, my daughter be a year old and attached to this animal and have something happen.
Oh yeah.
So phoned in a friend and was like, do you want our dog? And she was like, yeah. Rehomed the dog. It was not easy. I had to drive 11 hours, but
Oh wow.
she went to a loving home.
Yeah.
Point is, you have to make the decision, right, for your kid.
Yeah.
And
Oh, yeah.
I actually had to rehome a loving dog. He was my emotional support animal, and I miss him every
Yeah.
day. If I talk too much about him, I will cry. But my daughter was deathly allergic, and we just thought she was sick for 6 years. And that is a terrible thing to have to admit as a parent, like thinking
Gosh.
my daughter just has allergies, not thinking, oh, it's to something I've had in my home since she was born. So
Yeah.
we had to rehome him last year, and
Yeah.
that just about killed me. And she said, I'd rather have him. And we had to be like, no, your health is the priority.
Yeah.
And today she's healthy because of that. But like there are choices to make. But would you euthanize a dog that for one time and one time only turned around and snipped at your child, drew blood? Like we've seen John O'Keefe's arm, right? You know what a dog bite
Yeah.
looks like. But a dog that just snips your child, but your child is actively bugging this dog.
No, I would not euthanize. I would definitely rehome the dog
Yeah,
and let
I
them
think you
know
would
that
have
like
to.
cannot be around kids.
Right.
But euthanize, I think that's too far.
Okay.
It's like Janelle from Teen Mom, her husband. The dog nipped at their kid, and he went outside and shot it in the head.
Well, I won't say that this story is much different.
Oh, Jesus.
And imagine monetizing it. Okay, so let me pull up the next video I'm going to show you. And we'll go from there. So this is Nikki. And
Oh my God, I recognize her now.
stop.
Yes, from this video. How come she looked like a Hispanic girl in the last one and she looks white here?
Mm-hmm.
I recognize this frame. This video. Yes.
All right, you ready?
Yes.
Okay.
Hi guys. I feel awkward just like opening this video. I don't even
Off the jump from the start, the very first time I saw this video, the husband is distraught.
Yeah.
He's so hurt, sad.
Bro, aren't they all when you see family vloggers?
Oh, the husbands look miserable.
The husbands always look miserable. Every time.
But yeah, every time I see this video, I just want to cry for him because he looks so sad.
It was probably his dog.
There is no cheery way to open this video. And so we're here today to share with you what's been going on in our life. Now, you already know, I mean, well, no, you don't know by the title, but you know if you follow us on Instagram. And so I'm just going to jump to the point, and then we're going to back up and tell you the story and explain. So over the weekend, going into the weekend on Friday, we had to put Bowser to sleep. Man, it's so awkward saying the words. I feel like I don't even know how to quite say it. And, you know, Dan is with me because Bowser was,
Dan is with me.
You know, it's so funny. I feel like a lot of family vloggers, the women are the ones that talk the most, and the men are just like this. Like, it's the women that want this.
His eyes looking at her too are like, bitch, I don't know why we're making this video.
Seriously, he looks like he does not want to be here.
All right.
and he was our dog, but he was Dan's dog. And this was not a decision we came to lightly, you know, when Dan and I were first talking about this and just how this was all going to unfold and just having conversations around it. One of the things that we said, or I said, was I was like, people aren't going to get it. Like, people are going to be upset. And Dan's response was, oh, that was a bird. Dan's response was, nobody's going to be as upset as I'm upset, or as upset as I am. And so that's the position that we're in today. So I feel like, I don't know, do you want to say hi? I feel like I'm just like talking.
Hi. Well, I mean,
Yeah, you are.
we've had Bowser for almost a decade, and
Wow.
for those of you who know him or have been around him, he's an angel.
Oh.
So, looking at her,
Mm-hmm.
let me just recreate which. See how you're holding that cup? She just held her cup like this. But the other thing I find interesting is she's like, yeah, I don't know what to say.
Yeah. And this is like the main thing about everybody that does family vlogging is they're like, everybody is going to think a certain thing about us. It's like, then get off the internet.
You didn't have to share what happened.
Exactly.
To get rowdy, and that's part of the reason why I liked him. One of the things that I liked about him. But for many, many years, for most of his life, he was an extremely dangerous animal outside the walls of my house. So he was definitely an outside animal that I had to keep inside.
Well, and Bowser was attacked when he was a puppy, and we never.
So you knew he was dangerous.
He was extremely dangerous outside the walls of my house for years.
Okay.
Interesting.
Really talked about that very much, but that was a big turning point in Bowser's personality. So prior to the attack, Bowser could go to dog parks. Bowser was just calmer in general. And then after the attack, it just triggered something in him. He was attacked by another bull terrier, actually my parents' old bull terrier. But it's something that can happen with the breed. And so ever since then, things really took a turn.
Well, I mean, I don't need to get. There's been multiple instances, but.
Do that again.
we could have put Bowser down a really, really long time ago, and several times, and just been putting the day off.
Because you don't want to make that decision.
Wow.
That's the thing.
Yes,
When you love an animal, you don't want to make that decision.
It sounds like you should have rehomed him
Yeah, a long
the
time
minute
ago.
a long time ago, or the minute you knew you were going to have children.
Yep. Who keeps a
Interesting.
dog they say is dangerous in their
I mean,
home with their kid?
A lot of people, but most people, yeah, don't have it free or feed it free. Even a lot of people feed their dogs in their crate for the protection and children and to give them that free space.
And not every dog growls at people when they're eating. Because we have dogs outside that will not, they don't care.
Oh, my dog couldn't give a flying. My dog looks at me, like won't touch his food. I'll put food in his bowl. I'll walk away. I'll turn around. He'll still be standing there, and I'll be like, "You can eat, buddy."
Yeah.
Like,
My in-laws have a Shih Tzu next door, and he literally, I will trust that dog with my baby. She will lay on him. She will even if she pulls his hair, he does not care.
my parents' Shih Tzu does growl at my children, but she also has no teeth. I'm like, I ain't scared of you.
You're like, that's fine.
Yes, he's seriously injured a couple different dogs, including Zoe, who's standing right here. Had her stitched up a couple times. But it's.
We're having dogs stitched up from our dog?
I do not remember that part of this. I intentionally didn't watch any more videos. I went and found the ones I wanted to show you, downloaded them. I did not remember that.
Wow.
So my brother's dog, not the Shih Tzu, he has another dog, attacked Benji. So first he attacked Moose. This was years ago, but I was like, okay, Moose and him must have gotten a tussle. So I took Moose to doggy daycare. And then he attacked Benji. And I was like, look, of all the dogs, Benji did not antagonize him. You gotta go. But several times, stitches.
Yeah.
That's wild. And I didn't remember that they had another dog.
Yeah, I didn't know.
He's such a powerful animal that just the tiniest fraction of a second of just of a oops, and he doesn't mean it, or he snaps out of it, and it's just it's not good. It's so it just got to a point to where had a son and it didn't work out for them.
Do you not want to share the specifics of that?
Once Logan got to the point of being able to,
Her nose thing where she does that to his shoulder, I know a lot of people may think that's weird. That is actually a stem for me. Like, if Sean and I are in public and I'm anxious, I actually do put my nose to his shoulder. So it's so funny
really?
watching her do that because I'm like, do I look that weird when I do that in public? But I don't sit down in front of a camera and do it, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I'm not like, Sean, come here. It is weird in this context because if Sean and I were on a chair or a couch sitting next to each other, I've never done that. It's like in public, especially if we're like at a gala or something.
I mean, she's nervous.
Yeah.
So it makes sense why she would.
Yeah.
She's
the coffee
using
drinking,
it
I
as-
don't understand.
Yeah, I know. It's like, girl, just turn your cup. Turn your cup so the hole is by your mouth.
Yeah.
That's why she's doing it.
Because she's grabbing it in a weird way.
And
then
hole
she
is
sees
not
the
there,
hole.
so she's like, oh.
Okay. Because I was like, it's giving me anxiety. Why is she holding it like that? It's crazy we're watching this at 1.25 speed, though, because he seems normal speed.
Yeah, I think they talk slow. All vloggers are like this.
The only thing that looks sped up is her like, But he seems normal.
I love to edit us in faster speed.
1.25.
Yeah.
That is funny.
crawl around and run around by himself. He's really grabby too. He grabbed onto Bowser's ear, and Bowser didn't do anything. He's that calm, gentle giant that lives in my house. But Logan got him so good that if you know what.
I love that he said he's dangerous. Now he's saying he's calm.
Extremely dangerous for years. And then now we've gone a minute or two and we're at calm, gentle giant.
Gentle giant, yeah. Make up your mind, buddy. What is it?
An MMA fighter looks like, or a wrestler. They have that cauliflower ear, just balloons up. That's what happened to Bowser's ear. You might have gotten a couple glimpses of it in a couple videos, but it fully ballooned up, and it took about a month for it to go back down, but now it's scarred a little bit. And
did he just say his kid grabbed his dog's ears so hard?
Yeah.
So what he's describing, it sounds like cauliflower ear, but no, what he's describing, Moose used to get them from like his ears hitting him so hard. They're called hematomas. It's like a bruise inside where blood swells up.
Oh, okay.
The amount of pressure that would have to be put on that ear, I don't think a baby could have done.
Interesting.
Because Moose used to get them all the time when he would flap his ears.
Yeah.
But it was like an intense flapping, right? It's not like a child grabbing something. That's interesting.
There was one incident that happened. Bowser got Logan in the face. And it actually happened 20 minutes before we were supposed to leave to the airport to go visit her parents. So obviously it wasn't bad, but Logan still is
has a little mark.
He's still healing up from a little mark on his face from Bowser's little, we call him his dolphin teeth. So
and it happened in a way that it almost doesn't matter because the end result was the same, but in the spirit of telling the story, it wasn't like Bowser attacked Logan. Just like you said, it was like
defensive.
Yeah, Logan tried to take food from him. Oh, sorry, close the window. Yeah, it happened in a moment where Logan stole food from him and, really got in the mix.
Like that lady said, you're always waiting for the worst thing to happen. And eventually it's like, is it going to get to a point to where someone else has to put him down, or I'm forced to do it because of something that horrible happened?
Yeah, well, sorry, you look like you're about to segue into something.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say two things. One, I have so many thoughts around this. As you guys know, we're getting ready to move, and we haven't said where, so I feel like, where are you moving? It's because we haven't said it yet. But, we weren't sure what was going to happen with Bowser, because every time we move with Bowser, it is hard because he's special needs, like he said. So there's a lot that goes into transporting Bowser and even picking a new home for Bowser. Like, there's a lot to consider in that. And so it was really like, it was weird to have him attack Logan, you know, right before we're going to different places to possibly look to move. And this was not what we expected. So the way that this unfolded and what he mentioned about the comment waiting for the next fight, we actually attempted to rehome Bowser because, like we said, we know that, I mean, he's our little like clown. He was our clown angel. Like, I don't, it's, sorry if I'm awkward. It's just finding the words are really awkward because it's, you know, emotional. And we contacted the Humane Society and we had a long discussion with someone over there. And basically she made it clear to us that rehoming Bowser was not an option because he had been with us from birth, basically. I mean, he was Dan's spirit animal. Dan was his spirit human, you know, so they were bonded. And, you know, even rehoming, apparently, from what we're gathering now, when you rehome a dog, it's still like your liability if the dog were to attack someone. So it doesn't just, you don't just give the
Bullshit.
I feel like that's not a thing.
It's not. And if you do it the right way, you can do a rescue. So like that's what I did was I found a rescue and I said, I want to rehome my dog. Here's the situation. They found someone. We all signed paperwork, even though the rescue never actually took ownership of my dog. Yeah. It was like relieving me of surgeries and anything that this dog needs and stuff like that.
The other night, I went to my laundry room. It's outside behind my house.
Mm-hmm.
And I come back and I'm trying to get in the house and I look down and my dog is standing there like she wants to get in the house. She has the biggest kangaroo rat I've ever seen in her mouth. I was like, you're not going in my house, girlfriend. You're not.
Right. Also, how cool though.
She ate it. The whole thing. I heard her outside chomping bones. I said, Bella, you're nasty.
That's insane. I'm not going to play this whole video.
Yeah, it's too long.
So I'm going to stop.
Wait, did she have a new dog at the end?
She did. So that's the dog they kept having to stitch up. Did you see it?
Oh my God. That little tiny dog?
No wonder.
I have heard that those terrier dogs are not that great to have.
No, they're super yippy. They don't like people. I'm not going to play the whole thing because it's just more of the same and we have more to get into. But what is wild about this and that's what I was scrolling forward to see if they say. They called a photographer. And this is why they face so much backlash. They called a photographer and the photographer came over and they did a whole spread on their Instagram at the time. And they might have even done a video, but it's not up anymore. So no. Also, this is
of
the most
him dying.
It was their last day with him. And they did a whole photo shoot and everything. And then they put him down.
Do they have photos of him getting put down?
I don't know. But
it's weird.
People were like, that's weird.
That is weird.
Like, yeah, take photos with your dog.
Right. But a photographer?
So actually, it's funny because at the time I thought that's super weird. Since then, I have done several in my photography business end of life sessions with people and dogs.
Oh. Interesting.
Mm-hmm. Yes. So I've done several and I never charged for them. I actually partnered with an organization once where they intentionally found photographers and paired them up with people who had chronic cancer and you would go and take photos of them. So I did. But anyways, I actually have taken photos of dogs that then died the next day naturally or were euthanized because of natural occurrences though.
Yeah.
So while I think it's weird, I actually have experience with that now.
Yeah.
I still think most of the aggravation around this was why aren't we rehoming? And I wanted to see, her comments are off.
Also, why aren't you just taking pictures yourself?
Also, this is the most viewed video they've ever had.
Of them talking about their dog dying?
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't it always happen that way?
Yes. Okay. So, problem number 2 with Nikki Phillippi. I'm going to give you another scenario. adoption ethics.
For children?
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
We're not talking dogs anymore. Sorry, we're talking kids.
Okay.
So I don't remember if this is before or after the dog situation. I actually think it was. So they started the process before, it ends after, and I'll show you that video. But they started the process to adopt a child from Thailand. They were sharing updates, talking about how they couldn't wait. They were doing foster care updates, like they thought they might foster for a little bit. Thailand has rules, and actually, a lot of countries have rules. So, anyone who's known me since I was a child has known I've always wanted to adopt from Uganda. I do realize some people don't like it when people do that, and I get it. And I'm probably never going to adopt because my husband doesn't have a heart for that. But
Yeah.
it was always a dream of mine. Anyways, a lot of countries have rules. In Uganda, if you adopt, you have to take them back every so many years, and
Oh, okay.
you have to maintain like language and stuff like that. One of Thailand's rules is if you are adopting a child, you cannot share them on the internet.
Oh, okay.
And that's actually super common. So like children in foster care cannot be shared.
Mm-hmm.
So they found out that rule. Like, hey, maybe don't share this kid online. So they go on to film a video, and I will show you what they said. So this is from. Oh, this isn't Thailand though. This says Korea. So they may have been considering several countries. But they did post this video 2 years before the dog video. So I stand corrected.
So it was before the dog.
Before the dog.
So today, as Dan just coined it, it's Casual Monday.
It's
Casual
Casual
Monday.
Monday. I fucking hate influencers. Can we just stop?
Also, what is Casual Monday when you literally work from home?
Yeah, what is happening?
Okay.
Every day of your life is
Casual
casual, bro.
Oh, same.
We're lounging on the couch. It is actually Living Monday, and we're very casual right now. Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. So today, just like the title says, we're going to be doing an adoption update. A lot has happened since we last updated you. So much, in fact, has happened that today when we were at lunch, I was telling Dan, I'm like, oh, we got to film an adoption update. And he's like, we don't really have anything to update yet. And I told him, well, I haven't told them X, Y, and Z. He was like, we haven't? I was like, no. So we just decided, we got back, we're like, we need to film it. I knew we hadn't filmed it, and I was kind of purposefully avoiding it a little bit just because I was nervous to give this news for a very long list of reasons that I won't go into right now. But some of you maybe have figured it out. I had posted on Instagram.
This is 2 years before Bowser, right? Where's Bowser?
Also, they had a kid naturally, right? Like their kid that they're talking about. That's their kid that they had.
Their kid naturally, yes.
Okay.
And now they have 2 kids.
Did they have their own kid before they started the adoption process?
No.
So their kid was like little. Like
Their
at
kid,
the time that he was bit in the face.
yes.
Okay.
I believe he's like a year and a half old.
Okay.
But yeah, she got her little Yorkie there.
Instagram when it happened, I was initially super bummed. I'll just go ahead and say what it is and what's going on and what the big news is. Basically, we're no longer adopting from Korea. So to give you, I guess, a little bit of an explanation as to we're not adopting from Korea because our adoption agency strongly feels that a Korean judge will not approve an adoption for us because of how public we are in our advocacy for adoption. Apparently, there's just been a lot of stuff that's been going on in Korea over the last couple of years. Some of it has been really good. I guess there's been a big push for people to adopt within the country, whereas I think before it wasn't something that was kind of looked down upon, I think, before. So now people are adopting a lot more within the country, which is great. But I think that in general, our agency was very concerned that Korea would not want that kind of attention on their adoption program. Now, I will say we are.
No, Korea doesn't want Americans adopting Korean children for profit. And whether you like it or not, that's what this is.
Oh, yeah. For real.
And I think your adoption agency was smart for telling you,
I think so too.
Korea's probably not going to let this fly. I think it's wild she shared it on the internet.
And you know what
Again.
the craziest thing is? They're not even the only people that do this. A lot of YouTube families adopt
Yeah.
for money. Look at fucking Doherty Dozen.
I was going to say Doherty doesn't. But yeah, we'll let her keep talking here.
I've mentioned this before. We are currently with Holt International, and I have talked to a couple other. And they kind of felt like maybe Holt was being a little too too cautious.
Picky.
I just cautious is a funny word that you would say 2 years before your wildly dangerous animal
Who's also
bit your child in the
a
face.
calm, gentle giant.
Yeah. Cautious is a funny word. We're going to see more though, because the video she posted most recently just. So Josh posted his reaction to it.
Again, he looks miserable.
Miserable.
Does
He
he
is
even
like,
need to be there?
Do I need to be here? He's like, do I
Does
need
he?
to be here? No.
He's like, you're doing all the
He's-
talking anyway.
So she posted about a month ago. I looked and she was like, why I've been gone for a while. And I read the description. She's been on YouTube for 14 years.
Wow.
She has 1.8 million subscribers. So that's a lot.
Yeah.
At the time of the Bowser video, she was getting like 27,000 views, maybe more.
Yeah.
But she has dropped off. Like she's not getting a ton of views.
I think that's happening to family vloggers everywhere. As it should.
And I think it happened to her rather immediately. Like,
yeah.
Which is common also with family.
Yeah,
We say these things are common with family
sharing too
bloggers, but
much.
honestly, they're sharing too much. We know
Yes.
too much about you.
Yeah, if I know what date your kid started her period, it's too much. I don't need to know.
Mm-mm. We don't want to know. And
I
get
don't want to know.
some people. There's shit I do want to know. Okay.
Yeah,
Are you
but
fighting
like,
with your neighbor? What's your
don't-
neighbor doing?
don't these people think about their kids? Do you think your kid? I know my daughter would not want me to be up on here being like, oh, you know, she's doing this and she's doing that. Like, no.
Mm-hmm.
And kids
No.
that age, especially starting their period, kids are very awkward about it.
First of all, I would kill for some Challenger sweats now as an adult. But the first time I started my period at school and had to go to the office and get some Challenger sweats.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So embarrassed.
I've bled through pants at Challenger and had to go and get Challenger sweats.
Girl, I've bled through pants as an adult. As a substitute teacher. It's embarrassing.
It is.
I don't. Well, now the internet's gonna know. But I would never do that to my child.
Once you're an adult and you want to talk about it, whatever.
We'll see what they have left to say. So, following these two scandals, she falls off the internet. She still posts regularly. But how I stumbled upon it was Josh reacted to a new video of hers.
Yeah.
And he was reacting to some things, but I was hearing things. And I was like, I need Gloria to hear these. Because he's not even reacting to the things that he needs to. Or
Right.
somebody needs to. So, enter us. But then I started looking at her channel.
Oh, no.
And we may have to do a part 2 because I think there's other videos that we need to do a deeper dive into.
Yeah.
And then I looked at her subreddit and I was like, no, she's still very much a problem. And we forgot she existed because she killed her dog.
Yeah.
And she needs to be talked about.
So do they ever adopt a child?
Mm-mm.
Probably for the best.
Most people don't know this, but a lot of governments have rules.
Yeah.
And you know what? You know why they're not fostering in the United States? Because you can't put your foster kid on the internet.
Yep.
This is a choice. I worked with a personal trainer for like 4 years, and she is a huge vlogger, blogger, whatever, like posts all the time, has like 4 foster kids and 2 biological kids, and has never once shared anything about her foster kids.
Yeah, that's good.
So it's like, it's doable
Yeah,
if you want to foster.
right.
But with her, she's like, it's not possible.
Well, no, because they know kids bring a lot of money, especially foster kids.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, I'm going to get a phone, so I'm not going to get one of those clear ones because they're $80 on eBay. But I am going to get a phone, and when people are like, and I prayed about it, I'm going to be like, hey, Jesus, what did you tell him? Because we got to talk. What do you, and when someone says, God told me, we're going to be like, hey,
Yeah.
Sky Daddy, what's got going on up there? We got some questions. Because Susie's telling us something.
That is a way for people to feel good about the decisions they're making.
It is a common tactic used in
Yes.
MLMs. People used to say all the time, I really feel like this is doable for you if you just pray.
You pray about it and you let me know if God answers and tells you and helps you
I
feel
really feel like
this
God is
what you need to
calling
do.
you to this.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't tell people what God is calling them to.
Yeah, it's weird and also fake.
Yeah. Okay. I'm going to stop chatting for a second and switch over to a different video. So, some things that ChatGPT says about her, like bonus drama of Nikki, is she sold essential oils for Young Living. Yes, the MLM one. She's peddled extremely sketchy health advice, including high doses of vitamin C as a COVID cure. By the way, this is all alleged. This is ChatGPT. Yeah. This is not something I have seen, but I did save some of her medical videos so we can talk about it. She said some stuff that sounded very all lives matter adjacent and hasn't exactly made public amends for any of it. So we've got dog execution, adoption, PR disaster, essential oil science, and zero apology tours. So the next video I want to show you, we're going to look at the one that Josh recently reacted to. Josh is the creator. He goes by the Dad Challenge podcast. Yeah. All right. So here's Nikki. This is her most recent video. It's titled What I Learned from Being Canceled. And what I learned from going through the comments is she's either deleting them or people are just not seeing her stuff that have things to say, because the comments on this one were weird. Like, it was like, my favorite part, I love when, and they all started like that.
Interesting.
And I'm just like, that's not how comments are.
Maybe they're all bots.
Maybe. Also, if you guys want to start commenting on our videos, maybe Gloria and I will do like a comment shout out every week, and we'll be like, look at this someone posted. And I don't know, do it. Because no, also please like our videos. If you are watching them on YouTube or you're listening on Spotify, please also go to YouTube and like the video, because we're getting views. We're not getting any likes. Yeah. So anyways, so yeah, we're not going to listen to this whole video, but there are some things she says that I am mildly alarmed at, and Josh didn't even call them out.
Okay.
Hi guys, so I'm going to go
That's loud.
ahead and jump into questions just like turbo style right away, because A, I'm trying to learn how to be more succinct, and B, we have to get Logan to Swinson. So I'm going to jump into the first question. There actually are 2 questions that kind of hold hands, and someone asked, I feel like I answered this so many times, but I still get asked this regularly, and that was, do we have any regrets on putting down our dog Bowser instead of rehoming him? And then, well, the second question I'll lead into that. It holds hands with that. And to answer that, like I said, I've answered it before, but I keep getting asked. And the answer, how many times can I say answer, is no, we do not have any regrets. That's actually been kind of part of what was so trippy, or the whole cancellation process in general, is when you have something bad happen to you and you don't like the outcome in general, and then you replay the situation over and over and over and over, and every time you land back in the same place, it's kind of a little bit trippy, because we would not have rehomed Bowser if we could go back in time. I've said this before, the only thing we would have done differently is either A, gone way back to the beginning of his life and gotten him training earlier in life when he was younger, though we've spoken to so many experts, essentially people that have raised many dogs, people that actually work as dog trainers, and some of those people have actually said to us, like, no, it wouldn't have mattered. Even the best trained dogs sometimes just snap. But I have thought that before, like, I wish we had gotten him training earlier in life. But in terms of like not being able to switch that reality and fast forwarding, no, we wouldn't have done anything differently. That is what we had looked into doing at first when everything.
So that's was going to be my reaction was, so I don't necessarily disagree. The first time I watched this video with Josh, I was like, I disagree.
Yeah.
But now having gone back and watched and knowing Bowser had attacked people several times, or dogs, I don't necessarily disagree that he should have been put down. But I don't think the kid was the catalyst. Like, if he was truly attacking other dogs and they'd had to stitch their other dog, I think they fail in putting that dog in a safe home.
Yeah.
And giving their kid a safe home long before this situation.
Yeah, and I think he maybe could have been rehomed to somebody that did not have kids and did not have other animals. He
Correct.
probably could have lived
I don't
a
think
great
he should have
life.
been put down because of this scenario.
Yeah. Yeah.
I do understand seeing the history why they chose to do
Yes.
that. But I
Yes.
do think something should have been done long before it ever got to that point.
Yeah, and it's shitty too, because we talk about how you don't have to tell the internet everything, but even if they wouldn't have said anything, people pay attention.
Mm-hmm.
And they would be like, wow, it's been a month and we have not seen Bowser. Where's Bowser? Where's Bowser? So then
Yeah, that's true.
they kind of have to, because they've chosen to put their life out on the internet. Now people are going to talk about stuff. And essentially, like, that's what happens.
Yeah, and people are going to find out.
Yeah.
So even if they had come out, and this is a part of sharing your life.
Yes.
If they had come out and been like, Bowser passed away.
Yeah.
People would have called that freaking vet and been like, what actually happened?
Yo, did you do this or what?
Or the vet would have come out. Like,
Yeah.
you never know who's going to come out of the woodworks. These
So,
days.
like, you cannot lie
Mm-mm.
because other people will find out. And you also have to start sharing everything in your life, because once people realize that your freaking dog isn't there anymore, it's all their comments are going to be. That's it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's insane. I would not choose this life.
No.
Unfolded, and it became very apparent through conversations with an expert that rehoming him was not going to be the best or kindest option, not only for Bowser, but also for the people that he would potentially be like put in their homes. Also, guys, I have learned something this journey. So I thought for a long time that people that's it. People just wanted him to be rehomed. And I thought, oh man, if we had done that, then people wouldn't have been so mad at us. Although I guess I never finished the first thought backing up. I did regret telling the internet that, while I can't say I fully regret it, because I do believe God works all things together for good. And I think he shielded us from the very obvious fact, now looking back, that was going to explode. In my flesh.
Hey, Sky Daddy. Are people allowed to use the God uses all things together for good when they killed a dog? Like it was their choice? No. Okay. It's only like when you have control over things and you do them. Okay. That's what I thought. Thanks.
Oh,
Yikes.
good Lord.
I wish that I had never said anything. It's so obvious now looking back, and just was not obvious to us then. But where was I going with all of that? Something about rehoming. Oh, that's right. I thought that if we had rehomed him, that maybe potentially all of this wouldn't have happened. But I've actually realized now, going down this path, oh, our chickens are trying to get out of the gate. side note, I'm facing my chickens
Oh my
clearly.
God.
I realized that people that like literally worship animals.
I'm facing my chickens clearly. Ma'am, nobody flipping cares.
Also, nobody knows what's
Mm.
happening in your life, okay?
Also, don't say anything about the chickens. Just keep going.
Bro,
Like, I know we all
she
have
is.
ADHD, right?
Yeah, I was gonna say her ADHD is really ADHDing right now.
It's funny too, because in the dog dying video, it was, oh, there's a bird. Oh, there's a bird.
I
And I'm like,
know. You know what it is?
chickens.
I think she's nervous talking about it again.
Yeah. And she was looking out a window.
Because I'll
She
say,
doesn't
if
have a
I'm
light.
nervous, I'll be saying some weird shit too.
Oh, amen. Don't believe anything I say when I'm nervous.
They say that, but that's how I see it, which is going to lead us into our second question in a minute. They're not even happy with rehoming. I have realized now through having so many conversations with different people who did rehome their animals and had other people in their life shame them like significantly, that these people that really worship animals see rehoming an animal the same thing essentially as rehoming a child. They see it as something like just so wrong, like you've given up on your child. And
I want to back this up. Because when she said this, and I was watching Josh's video, I said, rehoming a child? What?
Yo,
And I
what
think it
are
gets
you
crazier.
talking about?
I think it gets crazier. I think I remember her saying something totally off the wall. So
how
Who
I see
rehomes
it,
their
which is going to lead us into our
child?
second question in a minute, they're not even happy with rehoming. I have realized now through having so many conversations with different people who did rehome their animals and had other people in their life shame them like significantly, that these people that really worship animals see rehoming an animal the same thing essentially as rehoming a child. They see it as something like just so wrong, like you've given up on your child and you're just saying, I can't take care of this child, and you're rehoming them. Side note, while we wouldn't use the word rehoming, I do think in the case of a person, obviously, right, the better option would be to rehome a child than put a child down. But this is where the difference is in that crowd's worldview.
What is happening?
I'm gonna back that back.
What are we talking
Josh didn't even when she said that. And I said, I'm sorry. Did we just say rehoming a child is better than killing them?
What is happening with this woman? I don't think she even
I'm
knows
not
what she's
even-
talking about.
No. She's in that I'm so nervous. I'm
Yeah.
not speaking English
She's
because
not
when I
even thinking.
heard her say that,
Oh my God.
I told Sean, he's like, do you guys even know what you're talking about? And I was like, bro, this woman talking about killing kids in this video, and I just
Oh.
don't even know. So I need Gloria to watch it.
My gosh.
I couldn't believe that Josh didn't pick up on that. And the minute I heard it, I was like,
I'm going to have to watch
Holy
Josh's video after this.
yeah, okay, we're going to watch
Oh
that part
my
again because
Lord.
you can't wrap your brain around it the first
And
time.
you're just saying, I can't take care of this child, and you're rehoming them. Side note, while we wouldn't use the word rehoming, I do think in the case of a person, obviously, right, the better option would be to rehome a child than put a child down. But this is where the difference is in that crowd's worldview and mine become glaringly obvious. And that is that I don't see humans and animals as being the same. So that leads me into the other question that kind of held hands with that. And someone asked, and it was ironic because I was just talking to my mom about this the other day, not this specifically, but kind of. They asked if I would ever consider going on the Allie Beth Stuckey podcast to talk about our.
I don't know who that is. Allie Beth Stuckey podcast, upbeat, in-depth, relatable with Allie Beth, breaks down culture, news, and theology and politics from Christian conservative perspective. She has a lot of videos about time to sterilize pit bulls. Sorry. So that was one title. Here's another one. Sorry. Human life is more important than your pet. Next one. A story of pit bull and political corruption. So it looks like she talks to people who have experience. We're not going to react to her because
Well, on her Instagram, she has a book called Toxic Empathy: How Progressives Exploit Christian Compassion.
How what exploits Christian?
How progressives exploit Christian compassion.
I don't think Christian compassion, ooh, hot take, exists the way it should.
Oh, I agree.
I heard someone say recently, and I was like, full agreement. They said every homeless shelter should be within so many feet of a church.
Yeah. I saw that
And
video.
I agree.
Within 20 feet, because that's what the church is there for. Like,
We should be taking care of
the homeless. Yeah. The poor.
And
I agree with
I
that.
understand there's a spectrum
Right.
of homeless, and I understand there are drug addicts and everything, but God doesn't say abandon them because they do drugs.
Right.
Or abandon them because they're on the street, right? Like,
yeah.
I something my pastor said a couple weeks ago, and I also agree. Graveyards should be put back on church property.
Graveyards?
So listen, this is why he says,
I don't even think we should have graveyards full.
But there's something about walking into a church to worship your God and knowing that someday you'll wind up in the ground. Like, there's a correlation that gets drawn in your brain of immortality and like understanding that you are mortal and you will die.
Right.
But we have separated death and church so much that it's easy to just be a Sunday Christian or whatever, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. We're about to talk obedience again here with this girl. I can't wait for you to hear what she says about obedience.
So I was actually talking about this, the thought of having a conversation about our story with someone in a podcast type setting. I've done it once. If you didn't hear it if you didn't hear it, I think I linked it once. I did an interview with my friend Todd Herman. He's a podcaster, and we discussed our whole cancellation. And it was crazy talking to him because I have not talked to anyone else in a podcast like format around our cancellation and just everything that unfolded. And it was crazy to have that conversation and see how much he 100% understood why that unfolded that way, why it exploded that way. I mean, I don't know if you guys knew this, but I think it was at the last Democratic National Convention, there were people like walking the floor and interviewing people advocating for the idea of giving a child tax credit to someone if they have a dog or a cat. So we're living in a completely different world now where people are viewing animals here in the West in a completely different way. And that is really a big part of it as well, is realizing that like our cancellation was very much a westernized thing. In other countries, they literally eat dogs. Our dog slept in our bed for over a decade. And at the end of his life, it became clear that that was the path we needed to take. It was one of the most painful things I've ever experienced in my life. That is a part of what made the cancellation so painful as well. It was not just, oh, I'm being canceled for something. We were canceled for something that was so incredibly painful and personal, and figuring out how to navigate that. And it was so unexpected. Like I said, we feel so dumb in retrospect, like you should have expected it, but it was so unexpected for us that navigating that already painful thing and then just having it blow up was just buck wild. But that being said, I totally would. I don't know what this imaginary land, like I don't know why, I can't picture Allie Beth Stuckey reaching out to me to talk.
She's all over the place. I don't think I could actually sit down and watch this woman.
Almost seems like the opposite of free thinking.
Also, what is bad? What is so bad about your kid being a free thinker?
The definition of obedience is compliance with an order, request, or law, or submission to another's authority. And yeah, like we said earlier, like I don't think of obedience as a bad thing.
I don't either.
And I don't think it's the opposite of free thinking. Like I don't think because I'm respectful and obedient that I don't have the ability to think for myself.
I agree. I think the two can go together.
Brainwashed.
Right.
It's been hard because part of the whole free thinking thing, then also you turn around and you're like, okay, you want your kids to be respectful. And even though I don't love this word, though I do like this word, but you want your kids to be obedient. And I know that almost seems.
I don't love this word,
but I do like
this word.
I don't love this word.
I don't think this woman knows who she is or what she likes or what she wants. I think she doesn't know who she is.
No, that's the vibe I get from this, is like she's afraid to say the word obedient because she thinks the crunchy moms will come for her. And It's like, I've never heard anybody say obedient is a bad word.
What I'm getting from this, she cares way too much about what everybody thinks about her.
Yeah.
So she's not ever going to show her authentic self. And I think that way about a lot of the people on YouTube. You are not
Yeah.
going to see their authentic selves.
No.
Especially a family vlogger.
Even us, right? Like, we edit.
Yeah.
So
Oh, I
much.
edit the out of shit.
Yeah. Like, you're never going to get an authentic, completely authentic us because we shouldn't know that much about each other.
Right.
We shouldn't know those things.
Right.
It's good to have your private moments. Like,
Yeah.
those do not have to be shared. And there's a lot, Gloria and I even discuss that we love that we discuss it and we're glad we sit down and talk about it.
Yeah.
But it doesn't make the cut because we don't want everyone else to know about that shit.
Exactly.
What a choice of words. I love this word. I don't like this word.
Yeah, she's all over the place, dude. She don't know what she wants.
But let her finish her thought.
Instead of free thinking, but like, you know, when you want them to, like, I don't know, if they're running the street, stop, you know, or even just basic things like helping you clean up around the house. You want your kids to be obedient in that sense. But I hold so dearly this idea of having my children be maybe critical thinkers is a better phrase than just free thinkers. I want them to think things through. I want them to be aware.
I want them to think things through. I just want to look up the definition of free thinker. Someone who forms their own opinions and beliefs based on reasoning and evidence rather than accepting what is traditionally or commonly believed, especially in religious or politics contexts. Critical thinker is someone who can objectively analyze information, evaluate arguments, and form reasonable judgments. So what I find funny, so this says critical thinking is a kind of thinking in which you question, analyze, interpret, and evaluate and make a judgment about what you read, hear, say, or write. What I find funny about her use of those words is, didn't she say, we teach our children this is what we believe?
Yeah.
Is she sharing what others believe too? Because if not, neither of those things are her children.
I'm telling you, she doesn't know what she's talking about. She has no clue.
I just find that so funny. So that's the last video. But the next thing I did was I went to her Reddit. So on her Reddit, she shares a video. The writing on the video says there's a lot of debate on babies having honey. By the way, your babies are not supposed to have honey. There is a toxin in honey. Babies can't have it. She is putting honey in the baby food that she is mixing. And it says, I think that it's fine personally. Oh, it's applesauce to give to her baby. Her baby's first food.
Is applesauce and honey?
So she's boiling apples.
Oh, so she's like using it as a sweetener.
Yes. Which babies don't need sweetener, y'all.
True.
I had to remove myself from Facebook pages after I had babies because the amount of times I had to go in there and be like, please don't do what this person's telling you to do.
Yeah.
No.
It says that infants under the age of 1 should not consume honey due to the risk of infant botulism.
Correct.
It's a rare but serious illness caused by the bacteria, which can be present in honey.
Yes, and it can be toxic to your child. And yeah, you can't give your baby honey.
So the bacteria releases the toxin that can cause muscle weakness, paralysis, and respiratory problems.
Yeah, don't do it.
I've always known, so I've just never, that's like a common sense fact when you have a kid that you just know it after you have kids.
Yeah.
So yeah, my kids have not had honey until they're older.
When I found on Reddit that she's still causing problems. People brought up a specific video. I'm not going to play the video, but I am going to read you comments from it because I think it's the most telling that she hasn't um turned comments off on this video, but these comments seem the most real to me. Like the first comment says, "You say things which are false and not backed up by anything and which are really incredibly dangerous. Just as many people have survived cancer using alternative treatments as have survived with chemotherapy." Oh, so she says just as many people have survived with natural treatments that have survived chemo.
Yeah.
This is absolutely untrue. Please think about the influence you have. Next comment says, okay, so you're saying people that typically lean left are replacing religion with science, but your problem with that is silence is broken. Can we talk about the broken system of religion? Can't speak about one and not the other.
True.
Next comment says, you lost me at chemotherapy. Chemotherapy saved my child, and she is healthy today, 12 years in remission. This was the one that made me think we need to watch this video. Maybe its own reaction thing. Nikki, I've been subbed to your channel for over a decade. Maybe even more. When you were blonde and did Nikki Gets a Face era, a new face era. But I have to unsubscribe to you now. I no longer agree with most of your opinions since the topics you are describing are far more complex. You're always argumenting how there is limitless speech freedom, yet you have a platform where you can freely express all your opinions. So there's that. Don't always assume that everyone can express their opinion on everything. I mean, they can, but you shouldn't listen to Aunt Mary on her opinion of medical services since there are literal experts in the field. Yet I agree that no degree makes person an expert. Like I said, this problem is far more complex and not so black and white. And I think I can also express my opinion since I've been here for a decade. Anyways, I wish you all the best. I have to say goodbye.
Yeah, this is the problem with influencers in general. Once you start getting into a point where you are spreading misinformation and just kind of talking out of your ass, you don't need to be on the internet spitting facts you know nothing about.
No, and honestly, it's dangerous regardless. I don't even know what she's saying in this video, but I'm seeing comments. This one says, I truly wish you would not speak on subjects you're not well versed in. One says, you lost me at chemotherapy again.
Yeah.
If a child has leukemia or brain cancer and their parents opt to use essential oils and vegetables instead of chemotherapy, they deserve a CPS visit. I can't imagine what she says in this video.
Don't give medical advice if you're not a doctor.
No, people don't realize how dangerous, and maybe they do. That's what makes me more afraid, right?
Yeah.
Is we keep thinking that these influencers don't recognize their influence, but I think they do.
I would hope that they do.
I think they do, and I think they think they're right. And that's what's terrifying. I do think maybe we need to keep watching her and like monitor her because I think she's still saying problematic shit.
Yeah, and listen, don't try to manipulate your story or like manipulate things about medicine to sell your product, because that's essentially what she's doing.
Yeah, and I think at this point, I don't know that she's still working for Young Living, so I think anymore she's the product, right?
Yeah, for real.
I don't think anything we could say to her or anyone else doing stuff like this resonates. Like they're not, we're haters. But I do think we can present the information and the public can look at it. And so, hey, public, this is Nikki. She's got some things happening. We'll just call her a chaotic cocktail. So that's Nikki.
Yes.
I wanted to show you all of her. And we'll just end this. Yeah, Nikki Phillippi. She has questionable boundaries and enough internet drama to maybe someday she'll have her own Bravo series. We're not saying she's wrong. No, I am saying she's wrong.
And hey, whatever, if anything you take from this podcast episode, don't watch family vloggers. If you
Yeah.
watch them, please don't.
No, and don't let Nikki pet sit your dog.
Yeah. Or your child.
What did she say? In that instance, I do think rehoming a human is better than putting them down.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Let's just remember she said that, y'all. Just remember she said that with a straight face.
Yeah.
Anyways, stay safe out there. Keep your this. Oh man, keep your toddlers and your Yorkies in separate rooms. And just because it's on TikTok or YouTube doesn't mean it's a good idea.
Or that it's true.
If your doctors tell you how to treat your cancer, do it that way.
Right.
We will be back with more opinions and unsolicited advice and reactions next time on Here for the Company.
And we'll see you all next week. And we hope you enjoyed.
Yes. Like, comment, share. It helps. Subscribe. Ring the bell.
And if you have opinions, share those too. Bye.